biohacking, performance, mastery, mindset, holistic health. This is a show about getting better every single day. I'm on a mission, guys, to help over 1 million people get healthy and lose weight. Why? Because when you lose weight and get healthy, you have higher self-esteem. You have more self-confidence. And that person goes out and crushes their goals and starts living the highest version of themselves, and then they have way more impact on the world. What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday. We are here to elevate, empower, and enhance your life. That's why I'm here, and that's why I love these podcasts. And every Wednesday I go live and I talk about a metabolic health concern or problem. And I want to tackle that because metabolic health is a huge problem in the world right now. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a holistic health coach. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, I created actually a cheat sheet that I give all my private wellness clients who especially want to lose weight and get healthy. And I give them like the blueprint to doing that. Here is the plan. This is how you can set up and structure your meal plans. Here's kind of the macro ratios. This is how many times a day you should eat. This is the meal timing, etc. And so I created a blueprint little cheat sheet, and I want to give that to you guys for free. So if you're tuning in and you want that and you want to have that, shoot me an email or comment below, or just shoot me a DM at Joel Evan Coaching on Instagram and shoot me a DM and say, Joel, I want that. Can you give me that cheat sheet? And I will send it to your email for free. No questions asked. So please reach out. Today, I want to talk to you guys about something. I don't know if you know this, but I can make you fat. Yeah, I don't think you want to be fat, but I can do it. So if you wanted me to make you fat, all I need to do is inject your body with this hormone. You guys know what it is? It is cortisol. And what we've seen is, prednisone, people will get put on these steroids, these synthetic versions of human cortisol. That's exactly what it is. Prednisone is used to treat many diseases, including asthma, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, psoriasis, IBS, all these things that they are given this hormone to actually help treat it, at least relieve the symptoms. Let's face it, it's never cured a disease, but it has helped treat it. And so similar to insulin, it can make you fat, cortisol. Prolonged cortisol stimulation actually raises your blood glucose levels, and that subsequently raises insulin. And insulin, we know, plays a huge role in weight gain. So let's talk about some of these stress hormones. Cortisol, we all have heard about it. It's the so-called stress hormone. It mediates fight or flight in our body. Now, normally, in Paleolithic times, this was a physical response, right? To prepare the body for action. You're going to get eaten by a lion or a tiger. You better be able to run. You better have some cortisol. The body is going to shut down all your organs for like digestion and growth and metabolic activities because it needs to prepare for battle, right? And that's important. And we actually want that to happen. But what happens when this stress response is turned on forever and ever and ever, or for a prolonged period of time, and it's not going down? So cortisol is produced by the adrenal cortex. Okay, now this is a class of steroid hormones called glucocorticoids. And if you think about it, it's glucose plus cortex plus steroids, glucocorticoids. Okay, now once released, cortisol is going to enhance that glucose availability, which is great because we need that. It's going to help provide energy for our muscles, and all that energy is going to be directed toward the outside of the body to prevent, but to actually enhance you to survive, to prevent an attack, to be able to withstand battle or get through the stressful event. And proteins are actually broken down, and they call this gluconeogenesis. This is why people, when they talk about going on the carnivore diet or anything, they're like, oh, I only eat carnivore and there's no carbs. Well, guess what? Your body will actually take high levels of protein and it will convert it into glucose. And this is the process known as gluconeogenesis. So to think that, oh, I'm on keto and I'm on carnivore and I don't make glucose, like I'm only using, I'm only eating protein. You still will make glucose. It's just a little bit different. However, and the process through protein breakdown and gluconeogenesis is a little bit more unique. And I think so the research has shown it actually it's done differently. So the glucose is different than, say, the glucose you get from carbs. So there is a difference. So if you know that research, calm down. I know what you're going to say, but let's just go back to the fact that I think people think they get so dogmatic when they think about I'm in keto or I'm doing carnivore and that I don't eat carbs. Well, your body still makes glucose. Your brain needs glucose to survive. So let's not get it twisted. So let's talk about cortisol though. Cortisol raises insulin, right? We talked about that short-term stress, insulin and cortisol, they actually play opposite roles. So if you think about it, insulin is used as a storage hormone. Under high insulin levels, meaning meal times, the body stores energy in the form of glycogen and fat, right? We know that. Okay, that makes sense. Cortisol actually does the opposite, which we were just talking about. It prepares the body for action, moving all that energy out of stores and into those readily available forms, aka glucose. But again, what happens under long-term physical stress? Psychological stress, work, mortgages, marriage issues, kids, sleep deprivation. Under these chronic stress issues, what happens is glucose remains high and there is no resolution to this stressor. So when this cycle continues over and over again, under these conditions of chronic stress, glucose is going to remain high, elevated for, let's say, months. This is going to eventually trigger the release of insulin. Chronically elevated cortisol leads to increased insulin. They actually did a study in 1988 showing that cortisol levels, when they increased with self-perceived stress levels, there was a link to increased levels of both glucose and insulin, which then led to, guess what? Both body mass index and abdominal obesity increased. Another study, healthy volunteers given a high dose cortisol increased their insulin levels 36% above their baseline. Prednisone increases glucose levels by 6.5% and insulin by 20%. So over time, insulin resistance developed, right? There's this direct dose response relationship between cortisol and insulin. Long-term use of prednisone leads to an insulin resistant state in a patient or even full-blown diabetes, guys. These are shown in studies. The increased insulin resistance leads back to elevated insulin levels. So there you go. Those glucocorticoids that we were talking about that causes muscle breakdown, well, releasing you're going to get that because these glucocorticoids are high. So you're actually going to have muscle breakdown and you're going to have the releasing of amino acids through gluconeogenesis that we talked about. That's going to increase blood sugars as well. Here you are in this chronic stress state. Your body is actually literally breaking down muscle. Adiponectin, which is a really good thing to have because it's secreted by fat cells and it actually it will normally increase insulin sensitivity, which is a good thing. We want to be more sensitive and have that ability to manage these be metabolically flexible. It's suppressed due to the fact that you're stressed. It's suppressed by these glucocorticoids. So here you are, you have this fat burning hormone. It's being suppressed due to stress. In transplant patients, they took prednisone, the synthetic cortisol that we're talking. They did this for years or decades as part of their anti-rejection medication. And according to one study, weaning them off prednisone resulted in a 25% drop in plasma insulin, which translated into a 6% weight loss and a 7.7% decrease in waist girth. Whoa. Talk about cortisol and obesity. There's diseases known out there as Cushing's disease, where you're chronically high cortisol. Well, guess what? And they find in those patients, they're typically overweight. What about Addison's disease? People that are known to have adrenal insufficiency and cortisol is consistently low. They can't make enough cortisol. They feel lethargic. They don't even have enough pep to get out of bed morning and just produce energy throughout the day. Well, guess what? One of the hallmarks of Addison's disease is weight loss. Up to 97% of the patients with Addison's disease also had a weight loss. Now, let's talk about I want to end on a positive note. Let's talk about 6 things that you guys can start doing right now to start reducing cortisol in your life. One of the big ones is sleep, and we are chronically sleep deprived. And what they found is just one night of single sleep deprivation, cortisol levels increased by more than 100%. And by the next evening, cortisol was still high, 37 to 45% higher. I could go on and on about sleep, and I probably will at another episode, but really dialing in sleep. I think sleep is we brush it off like it's not a big deal, and you really need to prioritize sleep. So that's number 1, prioritize sleep. Number 2, have some working in process. We are constantly working out have a working in practice, meditation, yoga, massage. We are all right now in a really difficult time in the world. We are in a recession. We are in a state of stress and panic. And that's just all felt all around us. And so we need to be having a working in. You guys need to be doubling down on your self-care 100%. So that's number 2. Have a self-care practice, whatever that is. Make it a routine. Make sure you're doing it daily. And then let's talk supplements. This is going to be number 3. I'm going to give you the top 6 that I think I would start taking if I wanted to reduce my cortisol and just start to bring more balance back in my life. Number 1 is ashwagandha, 500 milligrams. You can do it twice a day. And these are, by the way, I am not a doctor. I cannot recommend, diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. I'm just giving you some of the things that I have seen work well in my practice with some of the health coaching clients, as well as what some of the research suggests. So number 1 is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha, take it at lunch, take it in the evening. You could even take it more if you feel like you need it, but that is a proven adaptogenic herb that has a lot of good studies behind it. And that's number 1, what I would take. There's also blends, and I can recommend blends if you guys want to reach out to me. There's blends that actually have like all these ingredients in it. You can just buy that one supplement. Some of them are more pricey. So I just want to give you like, here's the top ingredients. You can try all of these in separate formulas, or there are formulas that I know that I like by naturopathic brands that are high third-party tested that are really, really good. So you can always reach out to me. So number 1 is ashwagandha. Number 2, melatonin. Melatonin helps drive sleep, and it helps with sleep latency. So it helps you fall asleep sooner. It is also very powerful on hormones and parasympathetic tone, increasing the rest and digest part of the nervous system. So, excuse me, using melatonin at night, very, very powerful. I just interviewed Dr. John Lawrence, and he has done a lot of high dose melatonin and he's found no negative side effects. He's doing like 600 milligrams a night. He's doing a lot of crazy kind of experiments with it, but point being is you can take lower doses up to the 1.5 to 5 milligram dose. You could even probably experiment in high doses, especially if you're someone with cancer or some kind of other autoimmune issues. Also very impactful for hormones. Like, I don't know if I mentioned that. So melatonin. Number 3, omega-3s. That's going to help with inflammation and also hormonal regulation. Can't recommend that enough. Number 4, I can never say this word, phosphatidylserine. I'll put it in the show notes. Phosphatidylserine is it's a powerful supplement that has been shown to actually reduce cortisol levels. I would definitely take that at night or in the evening, like after dinner. Adaptogens like reishi, some of those adaptogenic mushrooms like reishi, cordyceps, very, very powerful in terms of regulating the nervous system. And remember, adaptogens, they adapt. So they are going to give you more of what you need and less of what you don't need. So really, really powerful. And then essential oils. You guys know that I'm very big on essential oils. I love doTERRA's neroli is a great one to apply to the adrenals, actually. Neroli is very powerful for stress and adaptation, as well as the copaiba, which I just talked about last week. Copaiba is a great one as well for inflammation, as well as neuroprotective effects and stress. And then they have another great blend called Adaptive, which has kind of a blend of all of these, like wild orange. It has neroli in it. I think it has copaiba in it as well. And so some of those, the blend to help reduce cortisol can be very, very impactful on your sleep. I actually just started testing a new supplement also for sleep. It's called HRV Plus. I don't even think it's out. It's by Don Moxley. Just sent me some stuff, and we're going to actually do a podcast in the next coming weeks to talk more about this. But very, very powerful, and just some of the things that I'm seeing with my clients as well as myself in terms of sleep and recovery and heart rate variability, HRV, heart rate variability. So stay tuned for that. You're going to learn a lot more about that. I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you want to lose weight and get healthy, you got to reduce cortisol. Or if you need extra help, reach out to me. I'm also happy to connect with you guys. Connect with me on Instagram, Joel Evan Coaching, or shoot me an email, info@joelevancoaching.com. Have an amazing rest of your week. I look forward to connecting with you guys.